Welcome to the Operator's Table. I'm Cris Morgado. Today we're joined by Jason Lyon, the Chief Operating Officer at Wrap City Sandwich Company, a fast-growing wrap and sandwich brand that's now moving from local favorite to franchise-ready. After 25 plus years leading iconic New England restaurant groups, Jason joined the leading team at Wrap City and now is focused on turning Wrap City into a scalable, systems-driven franchise while keeping the soul of the brand intact. Jason, welcome. Where are you calling from today?
Good afternoon, Chris. Thank you for having me. I am calling from the seacoast of New Hampshire.
Is it very cold there today, or is it actually quite nice and warm?
Let's see. Well, it depends how you take 45 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's today's weather, and tomorrow actually we will be up into the 60s. So looking forward to tomorrow.
Very good. Awesome. Awesome. Okay, so let's start from the very beginning. So for people that don't know about you, can you give us a quick snapshot of your role at Wrap City and what you focus on day to day?
Well, as you said, I am actually Chief Operating Officer for Rhapsody, and I am their first actual executive hire. And I was brought in just this past August to help scale the company from its roots here in New Hampshire across different regions of the United States. And then in the foreseeable future, we think we would also be going overseas. So we are very excited. We are currently at 15 locations. We have 4 locations scheduled to open by the middle of the second quarter next year, expanding actually into 2 new states, one being Arkansas, the other being in Pennsylvania. And we will also be opening our second franchise location in Ohio. An additional, the 4th location for that quarter will be here in New Hampshire in the White Mountains of North Conway.
Wow, that's exciting times to be involved with the company, the Wrap City. That's cool. So I guess just for our listeners today, I will start with a little bit about the origin story, then we zoom in what's working versus what's creating friction, and then we'll look at channels, tech, and team, and then we finish on goals and people. So I guess you've had quite a varied kind of background. So fast forward to Wrap City, what drew you into this specific concept?
Let's see, it was kind of out of the blue. I had taken some time off after my departure from leaving a flatbread company, another iconic New Hampshire brand, having been with them 8 years. And I was connected through some networking with Greg and Ryan and Peter Ackerman, our 2 founders who started the company 10 years ago. And we started having discussions, and within 2 weeks, I had the job offer on the table to come join them. They were looking for an individual that could be brought on board to help run the organization as they continue to focus on our sister company, Wrap City, a potato chip company, which is where we now make all of our homemade potato chips that are served with our wraps and sandwiches.
Okay, fantastic. So, considering like your varied background, what did those first few stops in your career teach you about service and operations?
Well, I started very young as actually a 14-year-old dishwasher at the Common Man family of restaurants. I did leave that briefly and worked 4 years in a QSR, actually Burger King. So I'm sort of going back to my roots. And then I became the CEO of the Common Man at the age of 30 and was with that company for 27 years. So we were very focused, as well as my current brand and my immediate past brand of flatbread company, very focused in hospitality, providing that level of guest service that creates a raving fan that wants to come back and patronize you for life.
That's an amazing story from dishwasher to where you are today. That's definitely putting in the hours for sure. So, I guess, as you mentioned, you've been involved with some pretty iconic New England restaurant groups before Up City. So, what's one early lesson, I suppose, of failure from those days that you still watch for in your ops today?
Let's see. I think thinking about failures, I could easily point to different rollouts over the time. As we all know, being in operations, rollouts can be a struggle. And when they are not done properly on an established timeline with established goals, then they start to fall apart. So, learning from the mistakes of rolling out a few programs and at the beginning part of my career, not dotting all the I's and the T's while doing so, but then taking those lessons and making sure that they're implemented so rollouts going forward were always much more smoothly.
That makes a lot of sense. So I guess from day one at Rap City, what did you see that was already strong? And what did you immediately think, okay, this is where we need systems?
Let's see. The strongest point actually would be in the culture of the franchisees and their team members of doing the right thing for the guest all the time. And that culture, being number one actually at my two past brands as well. Culture really is the driving factor for an organization's success.
Yeah, for sure. Now, I guess moving a little bit into QSR, quick service restaurant, from your vantage point, what's shifting in fast casual? Is it anything in particular you're seeing trends that affecting this particular scene?
Well, with inflation rampant right now here in the United States, we do see actually a trend of guests starting to trade down in the category that they're patronizing most often. So we're actually seeing increased business volume. And in, talking to many guests when we're on the front line, they have cited that they're frequenting a Wrap City as a QSR because it's got greater value at a price point that fits into their budgets currently. And of course, it doesn't hurt that we have outstanding flavors and quality.
That always help. That always help. Not just about value, but actually quality for sure. So that was going to be actually my next question, which is how have guest expectations evolved in the last few years in terms of like things like speed, ordering, loyalty, new variety? What feels most different to you on the ground?
Actually, I think the speed part, since the pandemic and moving into a greater actually takeout world and a takeout scope in sales, we are finding that our guests are wanting the product even quicker than prior. I think there has been a level of impatience that grew during that time and individuals are still adjusting. We are living in a world that is instant gratification. And we often see that that comes right down to the ordering and preparation expectations of the guest.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I guess that was maybe spearheaded by social media and short reels, departing away from long kind of times engaging with TV, moving to Instagram and Facebook. Everything is instantaneous and digital, and people want it now. But the thing, like you mentioned before, you cannot just provide it now without the quality. And I think that's where you excel. You provide speed and quality, which is great. Now, I guess Rap City has a bit of a fragmented personality when it comes to being both a restaurant but also a CPG brand with the potato chip. I guess you're moving more into consumer goods. So, how do you think about that trend of restaurant-born products moving onto the shelves?
Well, it's actually something we're going to be exploring more of for the brand as we push forward. And, we have found that, there are tremendous benefits. Of course, first and foremost is in the actually production of the potato chips and an efficient production. Prior to opening the potato chip company 5 years ago, the potato chips were actually made at each individual location in their kitchens. So it was a quite extensive prep process to start every day. So, of course, by moving them into a factory, small batch setting, we're able to maintain our quality as well as reduce labor within the locations and provide for actually even greater consistency, as well as to provide us with the opportunity to develop flavors. 5 years ago, they also hired in their first potato chip sales individual. So he has been the driving force of getting us out there in the market with the brand. We're currently being carried in our regional larger grocery chains and are even being looked at by Whole Foods currently, of which we are very excited about.
That's what.
With actually the two sister brands, we're finding that there is really a lot of value in the cachet of the brands themselves. The individuals actually go into the supermarkets and see our potato chip brand on the shelves. And then, if they have not heard of Rhapsody, they discover that it is also a wrap and sandwich company. And visit us because of the potato chips. And then, of course, that works conversely. When they're in the stores and they see our family size bags that we have for sale retaily, we have the opportunity to also tell them they can buy them in the supermarkets when they're doing their weekly grocery shopping.
Wow, well, when you think about it, that's the best marketing tool you could possibly have. Because it's not just like in the shelves of popular supermarkets, but also provides a window into your brand, which is commercialized, which is amazing. It's the
Yes,
best kind of marketing you could think of.
it is a great synergy between
Yeah,
the two brands.
yeah, for sure. Now, kind of from your operator's seat today, I'm curious where things stand. So, like, what's working, what's dragging, and if you had to pick, where would you put your next big bet? So, I guess I'll start with one of the first questions is, in terms of what's working really well for App City, what systems you think are really humming along really nicely and working for you the way you want it?
What I think actually is one of their or strongest assets of the brand is our loyalty rewards program in the way that it works. It is seamless actually for both our guests as well as our operators, where there are actually pretty much no pain points involved and is fully automated to enhance the guest experience from signing up either on our website or actually at the time of purchase through the POS screen on the guest side, as well as their ability to be able to use those rewards without actually having to memorize their account number. It's seamlessly tracked via their payment form, their credit card. So whenever they pay by that same card that they have on file, they actually, it automatically will ask them if they'd like to use rewards if they have them available. And if not, it also tells them, of course, how many reward points they're adding to their account. So we have found that, very beneficial. And then on the operator side, it's just extremely user friendly and providing quick information for the operators when they have to answer questions or add point value to themselves to rewards accounts.
I see. So, does the customer scan a QR code on location, or how?
Nope, they do not have to. They simply, it's tracked by their credit card in their
Oh,
form
wow.
of payment or email for those individuals that are paying cash. They enter their email and it can pull up their account and apply those points.
So they don't need to sign up if they use a credit card.
They still need to actually, yes, act in into
Okay.
the program.
Okay.
But by paying that credit card, they already have it on file when they click the box that says, yes, I'd like to participate and add their email to it.
That's very frictionless. That's very good.
Yes,
That's okay.
ready.
So in terms of Rap City, sometimes it's not just like little bells ringing and everything is going well. So on the flip side, what's quite challenging, particularly in the back office in terms of systems where you can see, I suppose, a place for automation or efficiencies or streamlining?
Yes. Well, our biggest challenge, as I see it at the moment, is that we are currently running on a POS system that is independent in each location. We don't currently have an enterprise management system in place. That is something we're going to be visiting in the latter half of 2026 as we continue to grow because we've identified that it is a pain point for us as locations have individual control of their menus and can adjust pricing after we've set it. And, we need to keep an eye on such things as that to make sure that they don't get out of control. So, enterprise management system, of course, is one safeguard against that. And that will be paired with actually a learning management system providing online training for our frontline teams, which is a challenge for us now, being a historically verbally passed down policy brand, moving to documented procedures and leveraging our digital assets for automation.
I see. That's interesting. So when it comes to SOPs, they're mainly kind of fragmented.
Yes, exactly. And even on the reporting side, currently it's fragmented reporting that we have to actually go into the system of each location and pull the reports that we need. They're not totaled and cumulative system wide. So that is something that will benefit us in the future as well to be able to look at that data in real time, have it be accurate, and be able to leverage that data to make well-informed decisions.
Yeah, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, for sure. Is there anything else you think that might be room for maybe automation or systemization if possible? Or at this time, that's mainly the knowledge management and the data processing, the main ones?
Those are definitely the main ones. Of course, for ordering and automation, we will be looking at a proprietary app for the brand. We had a brief foray into one, which was actually quite the disaster. We started with it was launched actually before I came on board, and it was using an app provided by a third party delivery platform that, of course, they branded for Rhapsody. That was actually intertwined with a loyalty rewards program that moved over to them as well. Unfortunately, there was not, let's see, the strongest vetting that could occur on what that app actually performed and what it looked like. And that through no fault of anyone, when you are not aware of something, you don't necessarily know the right questions to
Yeah.
be asking. So we found that actually after implementation, there were many pain points for the guest in trying to use that app. And we decided that we had to move quickly back to not disenfranchise our current guests that use our loyalty programs.
I see. And are you thinking of developing one in-house at the moment, or you've started already?
We have not started already. That is actually a goal for quarter three in 2026. And we'll look for actually a software specialty company to develop it for us to meet our proprietary needs.
Okay, that's awesome. So it looks like 2026 is going to be a big year for you guys.
It is going to be a big year. I'm trying to be very mindful of not setting too many overarching goals
Yeah.
because at the same time, while we know we need to implement these systems for successful scaling and growth, we also don't want to overwhelm our current franchisees with continually. I think that is also one of the biggest obstacles when you work in the franchisee world is getting their buy-in so that you can move forward timely and efficiently.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, you mentioned obstacles, and I guess that comes to mind like friction and constraints. So, in terms of the next 12 months for 2020, what do you see like the biggest kind of constraints to be? Will be capacity, capital, systems, people? What do you think it will be the main things you ideally would like to unblock to let that kind of growth happen?
I think it's systems. Fortunately, we have increasing business volume due to both our quality as well as the economic environment. We are fortunate that we are a employer of choice and attract new team members pretty much at will with also some quality skills so that we can bring them on board for if they've got the will then we can also train them in additional skills.
Yeah, I see. So, and then when you mention systems, I think that things like, for example, the knowledge management, the data kind of harmonization between the different franchisees, any other systems you think that need to be considered?
Well, also, we'll be looking into developing a Rhapsody branded AI chatbot
Ah,
or the go-to source for our franchisees. So within that chatbot, of course, would be housed information starting from the very beginning as a individual prospective franchisee, developing step-by-step checklists for new franchisees without experience that walks them through obtaining the license to starting their own LLC, right through the build out and furnishing of their location and through the opening day. That will be, that bot will then also harbor all of our standard operating procedures and policies so that the managers and the owners of each can simply ask questions as opposed to being having to look up in manuals and spending a good deal of time looking for information.
that's a great idea. So it's a little bit like an onboarding tool, but also almost like an HR kind of ops knowledge base that can be inquired and interact with. So, for example, the things about holidays or like new flavors or anything that is updated within the headquarter can then be diffused to everyone. That's quite a good idea. Now, I guess the next question, I think I might know the answer, but I don't want to be very presumptuous. That's not very good practice. perspective from a podcast host, but I'll ask the question. If you had to choose where to invest first over the next year, where would you invest first? People, systems, or marketing?
It is actually both in systems and people, and we're placing the systems actually first so that we can firm up our operations consistently across the board, and then we'll be quickly visiting actually people. And that's actually, developing the frontline training programs in their memorialized state as opposed to being handed down verbally. So, an LMS is an important rollout for us next year.
Yeah. No, I guess the next question comes down to marketing channels. You have two kind of customers, which is people that want to franchise and also clients of the brand. So, where do they find you if they want to know more about you, or if people want to know more about franchises, or if they want more about the brand? Do you have a particular marketing program active at the moment that focus on those two different groups?
Well, they can always find out information on us foremost by visiting our website, rapcitysandwiches.com. We have a franchisee page on that outlines actually the brand intricacies, as well as, of course, the franchise fees and an application to submit for inquiry. But then, in addition to that, we just signed on board with a marketing company this past spring who has been busy, actually more so of late, of developing ad campaigns both to reach out to prospective franchisees via DTV and CTV, as well as social media.
Okay, that's very good. And do you have like any active campaigns for customers of the units themselves instead of just the franchisees, like for DTC?
We actually have no active campaign currently in, getting franchisees on board beyond the Biz Buy Sell franchise platform where we do advertise. We do have ad campaign that is coming out very quickly, featuring our next LTO, as well as reintroducing the brand in the region because we feel that we have a great group and niche of clientele. We know there are a tremendous amount of people out there that have not heard of the brand yet. And we want to make sure that we're getting out in the forefront of their minds so they think about us when it's time to order their lunch or early evening dinner.
Yeah. So are those campaigns on social media like Facebook and YouTube?
Yes, exactly. They will be leveraging social media on our Instagram channel as well as Facebook. And then in addition to that, we'll also be doing the digital TV and CTV campaign.
Wow, that's awesome.
So trying to go for an omni-channel approach.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. And on the chip side, what's been the most reliable way of getting in front of new customers? Is it like retail partners, local grocers, online events?
Let's see. I think it's a combination of both the experienced sales guy getting us in front of purchasing departments of new or actually grocery chains and smaller markets, also working with different distributors for them to carry for access by the independent operator. And then we give out a lot of free samples of potato chips. And whenever our franchisees are going to an event or hosting a charity event, we provide them with complimentary 1.5-ounce single serving kettle chips for them to give out. We just actually had our grand opening for our latest location in Dover, New Hampshire last week. And during our grand opening celebration, I believe we handed out over 600 packages of single serving potato chips that day.
Well, that's quite a lot of potato chips, huh? Um, I guess now talking about chips, I'm thinking more like now technology chips rather than just potato chips. So in terms of the tech stack, what things do you have in terms of online ordering or emails? Do you have all those kind of humming along nicely?
Yes, we have online ordering, which you can access via our website. And actually, that platform is currently split between delivery and takeout option. So, for delivery option, our preferred vendor currently is DoorDash, who is providing excellent service to the franchisees as well as timely delivery out to the guests that are ordering it. And then the second part of that is actually, of course, the ordering online for pickup. And that is actually done through our POS integrated with the Toast system. So some seamless approach for ordering.
See, and are you familiar with the email kind of and other channels that you have at the moment? Do you know what email stack you have?
We actually, our email stack is rather antiquated still at this time and rather small. There are email addresses for each location, and we have a very small corporate team. Um, we do actually have for guests to be able to communicate with us, an inquiry section on our website that they can submit that gets dispersed actually between the 4 team members in the headquarters for us to be able to respond quickly to guest needs and comments.
I see. And so, do you have an active email database where you can offer promotions and calendar events and new products?
Yes, actually, we have a actually quite robust database of emails that have been collected over the years. And our new marketing company will be looking to leverage that to be able to send out direct notifications to our loyal consumers as we move forward. And, another way to get out our limited time offers to everyone, as well as special promotions such as our holiday gift card promotion that we start this coming Friday through the end of December.
So that's interesting. That's interesting. So, if we zoom out a bit, and if, let's say, for example, we're clinking champagne glasses and you're looking over the next 12 months, what headline would you have in front of your mind that you like to celebrate?
Wrap City Sandwich Company reaches 50 locations.
Wow, that's a good headline. Now, I'm just curious because this podcast goes out as well to people that are leaders in the space and also people that want to become entrepreneurs and follow this exciting operator's journey. Because I'm sure you've got a lot of things spinning. What do you do to keep yourself grounded? Or have you got any routines, exercise, reading, meditation, diet? What are your hacks?
Well, first of all, I try to get actually a good night's rest every evening because, truly that's beneficial in being at the top of your mental game every day. But, in addition to that, I do try to take a moment or two during the day. First beginning with a gratefulness exercise and thinking to myself and often writing down for the day what I am grateful for. Some days that could be easy as I'm grateful I got out of bed this morning, where other days it might be I'm grateful for the team support that I have. So it's just recognizing those things that are whether they're small or large that you can feel positive about. And then I usually take a second time at the end of the day for reflection and think back about how the day transpired, what went really well, what I could have done better, so that I can be a better leader than I even am today for our franchisees in the future.
That's amazing. Actually, I had a very interesting podcast interview with John from Cedar Bear Herbs and Potions. She's an interesting lady, and she said it's so important to have a grateful practice. And there's a lot of science behind that because it actually stimulates serotonin and the feeling of well-being, and it kind of increases your contentment and brings further expansion in your world. So, yeah, gratitude is very important. I'm very grateful of your time, and I'm conscious that time is ticking along. So I want to start bringing this a little bit towards the end. And this is like a little quick, light round of questions I ask to kind of provide value to our audience. And one of them is there any particular book or podcast that has made profound change in the way you see the world? That doesn't have just to be about business, could be about philosophy, poems, whatever you like.
Well, actually, I would have to refer to business and leadership books that I have found most useful over my period, as well as for my leadership development. They don't have to be complicated. One that is tried and true and still at the forefront of my mind that I preach about is The 1 Minute Manager by Ken Blanchard. The story may be old in it, but the techniques to approach the team member as an individual, showing them empathy and concern, and being compassionate when there is an issue at hand, but at the same time being able to provide accountability. So, it's treating each individual with respect, but at the same time, making sure they know what is expected from them.
That's a good one. That's a very good one. Now, as we're talking about wisdom, what golden nugget for someone starting out? It could be not just in restaurants or franchising, but generally in business. What golden nugget would you like to share?
I would say seek out best practices whenever you are looking to implement a new standard operating procedure, come out with a rollout, but find out from other individuals that have already gone through that what their obstacles and hurdles were so that you don't make those same mistakes and you are actually using something that's been tried and proven by somebody else.
It's interesting. Just out of interest, because that's quite a very insightful kind of proposition. How would you go about doing that? Is it by reading a biography? Is it by reaching to a leader through LinkedIn? What are the practical steps you go about doing that? Because I think that's quite interesting.
And number one for me, it's actually leveraging the different associations that I belong to. For instance, I am a 18-year member of the Council of Hotel and Restaurant Trainers, and we are a nationwide in the United States nonprofit organization dedicated to the advancement of the individual hospitality trainer, operators, as well as their entity as a whole. So a very tight-knit group of about 800 members. And through our actually website, we can interact with each other in a section called Ask My Peers and put out there if you have a question about whether it's training or any specific rollout that might actually be involving a training aspect as well. And we find that our members are, almost instantaneously reply with their experiences as well as offer materials that they can send to you to be able to examine and basically steal from shamelessly as well, as long as, it's not proprietary information to that brand.
That's great. Like, so leveraging like trade associations and other networks. That's very good. Now, this is a question I never asked before. But I've done a few podcasts, so my channel is reasonably new, but I've never asked this question before. So I'll be interesting to see how you take it. So if you go back and could talk to your 18-year-old self, but add only about 5 to 10 minutes maximum, what would you share with them? What would you share with yourself?
Oh, I would share with myself at that time that all the hard work and effort of working literally, 60 to 75 hours a week in operations and running individual units, and then as a district manager for the common man, that putting in that time and gaining that experience would be the stepping stone for my future success and moving into the executive world and being successful in these roles.
So basically, there's no kind of shortcuts. You have to put in the graft, right?
Yeah, I've not found any shortcuts. I don't think I'm not a believer in the silver bullet approach. So, the school of hard knocks, as well as blended with, of course, training and furthering your education, whether that's in higher education or going after certifications to increase your knowledge level.
That's very good. So that will keep you going when the tough was getting really tough, and then you know there will be a light at the end of the hard work. That's amazing. So, Jason, before we start wrapping up, where can they know more about Rap City? Anything you want to share with the audience in terms of websites, socials, any upcoming events, anything they should be aware of? So you mentioned, for example, the promotion coming up. If they want to be part of that, where can they find it?
So the way you can find us is to visit our website. That's the best source, rapcitysandwiches.com. And yes, we have our holiday gift card promotion starting this coming Thursday. For every $25 in gift card purchases, the purchaser receives a $5 bonus gift to be able to use on their next visit. And we'll be running that through the end of December. So even those late shoppers that don't start until after Christmas can take advantage of a bit of savings for themselves.
Very good. Okay, that was awesome conversation. So, Jason, I want to say thank you for pulling up a chair at the operators table. And for people listening out there, if you enjoyed today's episode, follow the show and share it with a friend or loves the craft of hospitality. Today's guest was Jason Lyon. I'm Chris, and this is the Operator's Table, where we meet the people who keeps business moving.